Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone out there doing tonight? So again, my apologies if you guys read in the community tab. I'm a little bit under the weather, but as they say, the show must go on. So if I sneeze or cough, my apologies and whatnot. But it is what it is, folks. And I want to thank everyone for being here. First of all, and am I 5x5? Hopefully, I'm. Everybody can hear me, right? That's something I always forget about because you guys know that I will forget to turn on my mic. All right, prepping artist, thank you so much for that. Coffee first and speak, thank you. Raka, thank you very much. Daryl Cahoon, Penny, Eric, all you amazing people. And thank you, South Florida. Yes, everyone hit that thumbs up button. I appreciate that, brother. All right, speaking of which, let me say hello to some of you folks before we get started tonight. A lot of you folks may know we're doing a giveaway. Well, actually, we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 giveaways tonight. Some are more of smaller little gifts, you know what I mean? Things that I have that I just want to give away because I have too many of them. Small little lights and flashlights and whatnot. I got like this little kind of like a tactical pen. It's called the O pen in brass, which is nice. It's a mini bolt action pen by Olight. I got a couple of these keychain lights. One is an IR2. I don't know if it's an orange or maybe orange because it was a summer edition. And then I also no one ever claimed this one here last time I did a giveaway, which is the I-16. And then it was the 16th anniversary of Olight. So for you collectors out there, this might be something for you. So a couple of those keychain lights and then another small light, which is the I3 EOS. Those are some of the smaller prizes that will be given away tonight. And then, of course, here we are. We're going to be giving away. They sent me one. I'm going to go buy another one. I'm going to buy two. Because they made me take down the video because I showed a product in that video that I wasn't supposed to show. I thought it was out. I've had it for a couple of months, and they wanted my feedback on it and all that stuff like that. I thought it was out. Evidently, it was not. I was getting. You folks won't understand it. I was getting emails and calls and every 11 o'clock at night, take it down, freaking out. I guess, certain things are under wraps by some of these companies, but so I did a review on these. Unfortunately, some folks got to watch it. A lot of folks didn't. So my apologies. I made a mistake, folks, and it's bound to happen. But this is one of the little lanterns that they have, and they have 3 different colors. And if you look in the community tab, below the post that I put out there today, underneath it, I think there's this color, the brass, the black, and I think a green color that's out there. They're gonna give you guys one, and I'm gonna give you guys one. So I'm gonna give 2 of these away, and then a lot of you folks, hopefully everybody knows that I'm giving away a Blue Yeti today. A Blue Yeti 600 watt portable power station with 1200 watt peak is the EB3A. Thank you, Blue Yeti, for sponsoring that aspect of the giveaway. Blue Yeti is going to send it from them to you. So I don't even have to get involved in it. All I got to do is send the winner's name over to those folks, and we're good to go. So that's awesome. And I was very happy to work with them. Those folks are awesome. Thanks for the hearts. That's something new I've seen on here. But let me say hello to some of you folks out there that in there, because I've been rambling on since the start of this. And yes, we are going to have a discussion about the most plausible SHTF scenarios as well before we do the giveaway. So everybody gets to hang and listen to me ramble for a while before we get to the giveaways. All right, so let me back up a little bit. Let me say hi to some of you folks. I saw Coffee First and Speak, Spring Shower, Jan, JT, Yarn, Kanal, Terry, Sue, Eric, Raka. Let me see. I got the prepping artist, Disney up, Boiler up, Milo on the ready. Good to see you, man. So let me scroll down here. Suzanne, Rena LaRue, Yoshi's mom, Colleen Rich, D's Craft, LC, Sean Penrod, Daryl Calhoun, TMO, Addie is here. I'm trying to see if I missed anybody else. Oh, I'm far behind, folks. Captain Pegleg, Dominic. Let me see who else. I'm an Axeman, Sam in the East Tennessee, Bork. D14 is in the house, everyone. John Jones, Penny Willis, Mama Bear J15, Water Tiger, Dale Guy. Let me see. McBean, Scottish Fitness is in the house, folks. Ann Palmer, good to see you. CC369. Let me see. Stuart, good to see you. Stuart, you were here early. I saw that. Kaylin Strain, love you, Kaylin. Who else do we got in here? Am I missing anybody? Ghosty. Let me see. I got D's On My Way, Mark Witcher, Tina Ladybug, and a lot of other folks in here. Thank you all for joining us on this live stream. Truly appreciate it. How many folks do we got in live stream right now? We have about almost, I think we're about 90 some people in chat. So the less people, the more opportunity that everybody has to win. No, I'm just kidding. For the local, yes. For the Blue Yeti, there's a lot of people that entered in that one. But we got 65 thumbs up, so we're not doing too bad. We're at 75%. Anyways, folks, let's get into the sorry, I'm getting sidetracked by RWR. Good to see you. Sidetracked by chat. You know how it is. It's squirrel, and I'm like, hey, you know what I mean? I get lost. So I have a list here of most plausible SHTF scenarios. Now, the first two are going to be more small SHTF. You know what I mean? Small, little SHTFs that could actually be detrimental to some folks. But this list is kind of things that actually can happen. Not Yellowstone, not Halley's Comet hitting the planet Earth, not the zombies waking up and eating everybody. Unfortunately, those are not on the list. But hey, as they say, if you prep for the zombie apocalypse, you'll be prepped for everything, right? All right. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm just keeping an eye on chat. Oh, and Jan, JT, that was great to hear about your husband. That is awesome. And Yarn, I owe you. I got to text you back on Instagram. I saw what you wrote, and I had to respond, but I was busy, believe it or not, herding cows, helping a friend now do some stuff. Some cows got out, and they had to get back in. And we had to get that situated. So, and then Sunday was family day. All right. RWR, you are on the right track. So the first one, and like I said, the first two are going to be, I call it small SHTFs. And I would love to hear your guys' feedback on some of these things. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on chat to see what you guys think. I do have a 5-second delay on, so I can kind of try to keep track of everything, but I will miss things. All right, so the first one that I have on my list is personal hardships. And some people say, well, Grey, is that an SHTF? It is for some folks, because personal hardships are things like the loss of a loved one. Let's say you lose your husband. Your husband was the sole proprietor of, bringing all the funds in and making everything work and smooth. And now you're a widow, right? And you live on a farm. So that in itself can be a scenario where it's going to be detrimental to you, that you might be dependent on some of the things that you have, be it finances that you might have put away, be it food that you might have put away, things that you would use your preps for. Also the skills that you have, gardening skills and stuff like that. Maybe you and your husband worked together and he showed you how to do certain things and work on certain engines, how to use the solar generator. Because sometimes when I get comments on some of the videos that I do about solar generators and say, hey, looks a little complicated, but I hope either me or my husband can figure it out or whatnot. You know what I mean? So instead of having two minds, you just have the one. Loss of employment is huge. Some of us have experienced that. It's hard sometimes when you lose a job that you've been with 20 plus years, and then you have to start over. And in that meantime, if it takes a month to 3 to 6 months, that's a huge thing, because the mortgage is not going to wait. Maybe you're a renter. Maybe the person who owns the house, they want their rent. The utility company's not going to wait, right? So as you can see, this is an SHTF for some folks, because it's hit the fan, and they're going to have to depend, and hopefully they have things that are prepped up for a situation like this. Hopefully that they put maybe some silver away and they can cash in that silver. Maybe they have extra money away. They take a little bit of money and put that to the side to get them through. But stuff like your prepper pantry, maybe you have a well-stocked prepper pantry. You have enough food to last you for a year, right? And you can access that. You have your own personal grocery store in your home. Hopefully you also have your own personal pharmacy in your home, like all your medical supplies from, alcohol to all the different ointments and headache medications and antidiarrheals, and the list goes on. You have all this filled in there, and you have a medical pantry as well. So to me, it is a SHTF scenario. All right, so let's move on to number 2. I'm going to try to keep going with these. Thank you, Yarn. I see that. Lana Reed, yes, medical problems. That's definitely one. Medical problems can set a lot of people back, especially financially. I don't want to go down too much of a rabbit hole, but it seems like sometimes our government pushes the way we live to make us sick. You know what I mean? They push certain things. And what I mean by that is if we look at food, and food is a huge topic, we can go on for hours about food. But you know, they tell you to eat this and eat that and all this stuff like that, and it's good for you. And then you come to find out that, you know, you've been lied to. It's all a political money thing with the government because they have to pay subsidies to certain, you know, farmers and whatnot. So they say, yes, eat all the corn, eat all the grain, eat all the carbs that you can. And not that I say some people are fine with carbs, and a lot of folks makes us overweight. You know what I mean? And then overweight leads to the obesity and other health problems, you know, cardiac issues, diabetes, and the list goes on. So yeah. And if sometimes I always think when I say things, I might offend someone. So hopefully I don't, you know, I love sugar like everybody else. You know what I mean? I like to have a piece of pumpkin pie or key lime pie or just the sweet stuff. It's great. It tastes good. But unfortunately, being someone who used to be a diabetic, it wasn't good for me, folks. It wasn't good for me. And I was reducing my life expectancy by a tremendous amount. And I wanted to spend much more time with my family. I want to grow old with my wife. I want to watch my kids grow up. I want to see grandkids. I want to be able to have that time with them. So I had to fix myself and stop eating all the good stuff. But in moderation, as they say, you know, the holidays come around, I will splurge a little bit and have me something sweet. Why not? Especially like dark chocolate. They said dark chocolate's great for the heart, right? Snake bite. I understand that, brother. And it's a hard thing when you lose wife or husband, because imagine you spend 25, 30, 40, 50 years with someone that you wake up to every day, and then they pass, and then you wake up the next day and they're not there. It's not only, you know, mentally something hard to deal with mentally, because that's all you know. That's been something consistent in your life, and it's now gone. I'm scared of that, folks. You know what I mean? To me, that is an SHTF for me. I wouldn't know what I would do with my wife. She is my crutch. She is the person that I lean to. She's the person I bounce ideas off of. She's the person that helps everything come together. So I understand the loss of a loved one is tremendous. Let me see here. All right, so let's kind of move on because you know me, I'll ramble on about number one forever, and then the live stream's over. All right, so number two is going to be localized disasters. Localized disasters. And a lot of you folks out there, I'm pretty sure, have been dealing with certain things over the past several years, depending on where you live, right? So for instance, I saw someone earlier, I forget who wrote it, about the smoke coming in from Canada, creating issues in their area. But there's been tornadoes, there's been all kinds of different storms, floods, and there's more to come. We also dealt with snowstorms, heavy, crazy winter, crazy spring, and now we're moving into summer, and it's just as crazy. We're dealing with crazy amounts of heat. A lot of people, their gardens are failing because there's not enough rain in certain places, and then there's too much rain in other places. So if you depend on your garden for food to sustain your family because you're on a fixed income, let's say you're on SSI or SSD or something like that, and your garden, you know, helps substantiate or, you know, fill in that gap for your vegetables and maybe some of your potatoes and stuff like that you may grow in your garden, your herbs, some of your medicinal plants, that can be something huge. You know what I mean? So if you lose your crops, and I'll imagine some of the larger folks out there that actually have a farm, you know, the independent farmer, I think there's not that many farmers out there anymore. I think it's less than 5%. Don't quote me on that, but it's somewhere between 3 and 5% of actually family-owned farms that actually produce things and whatnot. Everything has gone corporate or governmental or something like that. But situations like that where there's a drought and they can't grow, or if there's, like, again, too much water could be an issue. You got to be a happy medium, as they say, right? I'll be honest with you folks. I just went and checked on the pumpkins this last few days, and I'm under attack. These little green worms are eating. I mean, within a few days, they've devoured almost every single leaf on that Seminole pumpkin plant, or the several plants. I went in there and spent 2 hours cleaning them out, taking all the bad stuff out of there, killing them. And then I use something called BT. A lot of you folks might be familiar with BT. Spray that on the leaves so when they eat it, it's a organic way of spraying for something that they eat it, the worms die. It doesn't affect the other bugs like the bees and the good stuff, you know? Excuse me. So localized disasters. And like I said, wildfires, blizzards, floods, earthquakes, hurricanes, even civil unrest. How many of you folks were in an area several years back in 2020, 2019, in those times where, was it? Yeah, mostly 2020, late into 2021, somewhere around there, where you had all these people burning down buildings, chasing people down, smashing windows and looting and all kinds of stuff like that. To me, if I would have walked out, if I would have been living in Portland, Oregon during that situation, it's almost like a chaotic end of the world event. Every night there's people marching in black, screaming and chanting. And if you don't follow what they say, you're the enemy. So you're in like an enemy territory, right? So if you think opposite of the way they think, it's like being in another country. You know what I mean? They've taken over. The police aren't doing much. It's just insane how long that went on for. So localized disasters, folks. It's not full on SHTF, but it's there. You know what I mean? For some people that were in that situation, a lot of people moved away. A lot of people moved out of certain parts of California and Portland and all kinds of places. Even up in Wisconsin and places like New York. There was so much going on every time you weren't. Even in Atlanta, Georgia, there was a couple incidents as well. People just moved. I always tell people, and I agree, get out of the big cities, Chicago, New York, LA, all those places, because if anything ever happens, and it's not when, or it's not if, it's when, that's going to be that's the tinder to the catalyst. It's just going to explode into this monster situation. The further you're away from people, the more better opportunity you have for survival. At least that's from my perspective. Let me see. Fighting hornworms and army worms, also brown dogs on citrus. Addie, it's been bad. The heat has been nasty. We get lots of rain, but the heat, when it's here and the bugs are starting to come, it's just so saturated in the grass that the bugs are it's giving enough time for the bugs to maneuver themselves into the raised beds and whatnot. It's not good. Coffee Guy says, I'm almost in the center of the burning town. Coffee Guy, I wish you luck, man. But hopefully folks that are in the cities prepare for it. A lot of you folks know there's like city prepping, there's angry prepper. There's a lot of folks that live in some of those big cities that prep for that environment that they're in and have an exit strategy. You know what I mean? So having a good exit strategy is probably the best thing if you live in a big city. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Mama Bear J15 says, we have a local farmer who is allowing a couple of us to grow small garden on the edge of his corn crops. The land is rough, but thankful for every inch. That is awesome, Mama Bear. And that's what I feel like most of us is about community, especially in small rural areas. Folks are a lot more community based. We help one another. You know what I mean? Like the cows get out and you need to help someone put the cows in. Someone has an extra plot of land and lets you grow some food on there. Or maybe you have a co-op and you guys all work together. You spend a little bit of time, you dedicate some time, and you all grow food together. Because something like that will, even when things go sideways, that would be beneficial to you. At least that's how I expect it. Most of the people that I associate myself with, that I've built relationships with, like the local people around here, the cattle the cattle ranchers, the farmers, and some of these other people that I've met here in my area, I've tried to make the best relationships I possibly can. So anytime they call me and they need my help, if I had the capability, I'm going to go do what I can to help them because it's an asset. Can't sell. Nobody wants to buy here. Roger that, Coffee. What's up, T-Bolt? Good to see you, brother. What is it? Yeah, you're still at work, huh, brother? Good evening, Raven, as well. All right, so let's moving on to number 3. And they're not really order, but they do get worse as the last few are going to be really bad. You know what I mean? The channel, The Urban Prepper, is another one that does stuff about urban prepping. I live in a city because I don't drive, but I know people who can give me a ride and I would help them out. That's awesome, Kaylin. Yes, Cliff, The Urban Prepper, we like to call him TUP, is another great channel for people that are in a suburban environment. I mean, they're more in the cities. I'm on the outskirts of I'm not in a big city. I'm in, you can me see, South Florida, DCL, and JT both live in the same area that I live in. So we kind of live in a city, but not. It's not a big city. It's big. It's more of a suburbia land. You know what I mean? But I currently live on the outskirts in a little community out here. But this is my last stepping stone to self-sufficiency. And what I mean by that is the next move is a small farm / homestead. That's the big goal. Everything I do is for that goal. Everything my wife does is for that goal as well. So every dime, everything that we can do to further that goal is that's our long-term game plan. And hopefully that we can get there when we're not too old. Hopefully it's going to happen within the next couple of years. That's our projected idea of when we're going to do this. We just don't want to be too old that we can't work the land. But a lot of the farmers and stuff that I talk to here, they're 60, 70, 80 years old and still doing it. So I feel that at least I have another 30, 40 years of working my land and living that self-sufficient life per se. You know what I mean? And it won't be totally off grid. You know what I mean? But it'll be a spot where if things go sideways, it'll be a lot more safer than being in the city or being in a community like that I'm in now. All right. I just started a plan to move rural 3 years ago. I'm still where I was 3 years ago. Jules, well, I wish you the best. I know a lot of folks want that. We have a lot of folks in the channel that have that. It's just a much more slower way of life. And it's just much more enjoyable. Being in a city, traffic and noise and, constant sirens and stuff like that. It's just something. That's why I have to get away to the woods 3 or 4 times a week, because I just got to get away from the noise. Believe it or not, folks, walking through nature and walking in the woods, you can Google it, you can do whatever you want, but going in the woods actually lowers your blood pressure. It releases a certain chemicals in your brain that relaxes you. So just going for a walk in the woods and enjoying nature is beneficial to your health. Let me see. Wood Elv says, I'm in the sticks and there are people from the city living in tents just to get away from the crime. Farmers are our lifeblood. We need to go local on everything. Roger that, brother. Roger that. And that's interesting. That's very interesting. Eric says, I'm 16, still can work on my land. 60 is not old. That's good to hear, Eric. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm doing everything I can to I guess, be more healthy, living a healthy lifestyle, right? And Edward says, hug a tree. Hey, AP, Alien Prepper's in the house. He beamed down to hang out with us folks down here on Earth. There is no electricity in the woods. That's why you feel relaxed. Ghosty, that's a great point. That is a great point. Yon Prepper says, super chat's not necessary, but always appreciated. Yeah, I don't really, I used to enjoy the super chats and stuff like that, but it's not something required on my channel for me to shout you out or see you. If I happen to see the question or a statement, I just say it. Super chats all benefit the channel, but most of the money that I make off YouTube just goes back into the channel. Either it'll end up going into some giveaways or postage or mail or whatever. I'm not here to get rich. I get a lot of stuff from doing reviews. I guess that's my caveat to doing YouTube. All the review stuff that I get is free. And so that helps me out with my preps. And so the stuff like that, you know what I mean? I do get super chats from time to time. It's super thanks. It's surprisingly some of the things that I get sometimes. And I'm very grateful. But it's something that you don't have to do because I know the economy's tight and a lot of people are struggling. Because I'm struggling, and me and my wife both work good jobs. I actually work several jobs, and she works morning till night, almost 5 to 6 days a week. And it's still tight for us. But anyways, enough of that. But thank you, Yarn. I appreciate that. So let's move on to number 3. I got to watch my time because we still have to, we got to do these giveaways here. We got 127 people in chat, right? 89 thumbs up. We're doing pretty good, folks. We're doing pretty good. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss it. Yeah, 24 minutes. I got to speed up a little bit. So I'm going to have to speed up. Hey, Creative Redundancy. CR is in the house. Good to see you, Maria, as well. I'm just making sure. I'm trying to like to glance up at chat sometimes to say hello. Dale says, I'll be 76 in 10 days, still on my own. That's awesome, Dale. And early happy birthday to you. You know what I mean? I want to be like the Okinawans. I want to live to 100 years old and still walk around and still smile and still enjoy time with my family. So that's how I look at life. You know what I mean? If you look at the Okinawans' way of thinking and what they say about life, it's pretty cool. All right, so number 3 is economic collapse. I've done videos on this. I'm pretty sure a lot of preppers have done videos on this. Even financial advisors have probably done videos on this. There's a lot of folks that have done videos on economic collapse. So what is an economic collapse? Economics collapse can be kind of where we're at right now, where everything's super expensive. They say inflation is cooling off. I don't see it. The cost of food is still up. Eggs have come down a bit. Gas is still up. It fluctuates, but it's still over 3 something a gallon. And we think that now when it goes down to 3.20 or 3.15, that's great. But remember when it was like $1.89? What happened to that? You know what I mean? It's still way higher than it was. But hyperinflation, recessions, what some economists or economists say that it's still a possibility into 2024 that we could see a recession. It might be a mild recession, but we're not out the woods yet. And a Great Depression, part 2, Great Depression 2. I hope that it doesn't get to that, folks. But if it does, I've talked about the Great Depression and how people survived, victory gardens and stuff like that. That's why everybody should start working on their green thumb and, start a garden. If it's just on the back of your porch or on your patio, start somewhere and start learning how to grow your own food. Because food will be key in a specific situation like that. Because you don't want to be in a FEMA line. You don't want to be in a bread line. You don't want to be that person. I mean, if you have to, you got to do what you got to do, but you don't want to be dependent on the government. So, yeah. And then the stock market crash. A lot of folks have said that the stock market is hyperinflated. It's the government that pours money into it to make it look good, and then it comes down. And we've been watching the stock market for sometimes. A lot of folks don't care about the stock market. I don't really mess with stocks. I still dibble and dabble with crypto, but when it comes to the stock market, it's like if the stock market is doing well, that kind of says America is doing well. You know what I mean? America, we're doing good. But if the stock market was to crash, it means our economy is going to falter shortly thereafter. A lot of you folks that are old enough have seen what happened when the stock market crashed back. I can't remember what the date specifically was, but when that happened, and I don't mean the Great Depression, that was a huge situation. But I think it was 08 or 07 when we had that recession, that heavy recession. A lot of bad things happened. People were out of work. People lost their homes. It was a very nasty situation. But yeah, 3, economic collapse. We love conga lines. What am I missing here? Let me see here. What up? You guys are just saying hello to each other. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anyone. Good to see you, Minuteman 69. And I'm probably going to say this wrong, but Brahult Homestead, good to see you. Potato Head is in the house. In-N-Out Burger told employees not allowed to wear masks, only if you have a doctor's note. Gotta love it. All right, so number 4, speaking of that, Potato Head, is pandemics. And now, yes, we all went through a recent pandemic. Some people say plandemic, this demic, that whatever demic you want to call it. We saw all kinds of crazy things happen for almost 2 years. So imagine something else comes along with a high mortality rate. Something like that comes along, something that's really bad. We've seen it. It's happened in our country. It's happened globally. You know what I mean? Good to see you, Prep Rebel, as well. It's happened throughout history. Pandemics with a high mortality rate. Like the Black Plague, and the list goes on, the Spanish flu. So you kind of want to stay away from everybody at that point, right? If it has a high mortality rate and people are dying left and right, the last thing you want to do is go to the store. The last thing you want to do is go do this or go do that. So do you have enough supplies to get through a situation like that? You know what I mean? Do you have enough toilet paper? I have to laugh at that because, I mean, as a prepper, I got probably more toilet paper than I need, but there's never enough, right? But how people went fanatic over toilet paper and how it wiped out the shelves. And of course, toilet paper skyrocketed and the supply was very limited and demand was very high. So the cost of that. And then, of course, you had to wear, some sort of crazy suit and face coverings and all kinds of stuff that really didn't do much for you in life other than, make you look silly. But to each his own. I don't knock anybody. That's what you want to do. You do what you want to do. But just imagine something on a bigger scale, which would be very scary to folks. You know what I mean? If you see people just dropping like flies, you probably want to stay on your farm. You want to stay on your homestead. You want to stay in your home. So do you have enough medications? Do you have all the stuff needed to keep yourself going for however long that's going to last? Excuse me. So So moving on to number 5. I'm just watching the time. TP is a prep that takes a lot of room to store. Prep Rebel, I don't want to get up, but I have, I don't think I've ever done a video on it, but I remember a long time ago, Canadian Prepper did it. They're little tabs, and you just put a drop of water on it, and it turns into a big piece of almost like a paper towel that you can use. I call them TP tabs. That's what I call them. But I bought big ones of those. Big ones. You can buy 1,000 of them for a pretty decent price. And you can use those. And they take up so much less space. Now, another thing that I've seen people do is use vacuum sealers and compress these big toilet paper into smaller things. I've seen people do that. Or if you have, another place that's off-site, you know what I mean, that you can get to in a bad situation where you can store some of these bulk products at. All right, Jan, are you going checking on the dogs, Jan? Pop-up towel. Thank you, Creative Redundancy. I have 2 5-gallon buckets of them. That's awesome, Prep Rebel. See, and that's what I'm saying. Those can come in super handy. And then you could also take that 5-gallon bucket and make it into a toilet if you had to, if the water's not running. But, that's for another video, right? Rabid Coyote, good to see you. Daryl, yes, always practice your preps. All right, so let's move on to number 5. Number 5, we've seen in the news over the last couple of years as well. And this is what I'm saying. If you look at Murphy's Law, what can happen will happen, right? Cyber attacks. Cyber attacks have been happening. We've seen them in the news. We've seen, processing plants get attacked by cyber attacks. We've seen others, companies and banks and all kinds of stuff hit by cyber attacks. And usually they pay them. They pay these what are they called? Someone throw the name in the chat. What are they called? The hijackers, the ransomware. There we go, ransomware. That's great, Mylon already. Ransomware attacks, all kinds of stuff that's happened. And it happens on a consistent basis. I did a whole video about this a while. I think we did a live stream actually a year or so ago, how often this happens. It's almost like a daily thing. But just imagine a major cyber attack on our infrastructure, specifically, let's say on the grid, the power grid. We are so dependent, and I don't mean us, I mean just in general, people are so dependent on the grid for things like electricity, right? The grid, but your air condition, your heat, your water, your gas pumps, everything around your world hangs on electricity. We're in a world where everything's based around electricity. So without electricity, you're back in the dark ages. So imagine a major cyber attack. Takes our infrastructure, takes the grid down, holds our grid ransom, or just destroys the grid. Depending on how bad it is, it can be something that could be something short term, or it could be long term. So hopefully, to me, that's a plausible SHTF, because we've seen it happen. We've seen other countries get hit a lot harder than we have. Maybe we're just better at defending it, but we still have seen here in the U.S. get attacked by cyber attacks. Matter of fact, on the giveaway video for the EB3A, I had someone that used my logo. A lot of you guys watch. It's happened to Rudy and a lot of other channels out there. Someone used my logo and was trying to get people to call this number. They're scammers. It's not necessarily a cyber attack, but they're trying to take your money. They're trying to find a way to steal from you. Hey, busy girl, good to see you. So I will never, ever tell you to call some WhatsApp number, some weird Skype number. If you win something, I will use graysgiveaways@gmail.com and I will respond to you that way. I will never, ever. If it doesn't say GreyMan, then it's not me. They might use my logo, but it's not me. Just email me and let me know, and I will block and delete them as fast as possible and report them to the bigwigs at YouTube. Okay, now you saw that? Yeah, I luckily I woke up in the morning, I saw it, and I got rid of it as fast as possible. But I did get 4 or 5 emails from people were either wondering if they won something or if it was a scam, and I went ahead and talked to a lot of those folks. What's up, Seabass? Yeah, D14, shockingly. All right, so let's move to number 6. And if you everything up to number 6, we've all seen it happen in our lifetimes. Okay, so far. We've had personal hardships, localized disasters, economic collapse, pandemics, cyber attacks. Number 6 is going to be terrorism. The war on terror. Sorry, had to do it. But terrorism. And terrorism is a whole gambit of things. It could be domestic terrorism from some sort of group that wants to not have you eat meat for some reason. So they do some crazy things and create some serious issue and start the whole world ending scenario. I think that was the basis for, what was that movie called? 28 Days Later. Good to see a busy girl as well. Thank you. But terrorism, imagine if we have open borders right now, folks, and not to get too political. I don't like to get too much political on the channel like I used to. Trust me, I go in on it. But we have open borders down at the southern border. People are coming across. There's hundreds and hundreds of getaways. They come across the border. They don't know where they went, who they are, anything like that. Thank you, JT. And people are just coming across the border. So here's my biggest concern. What about if they have some sort of dirty bomb? So a dirty bomb is basically nuclear material that creates a situation in a city near you that releases a radiological nastiness in your area. Do you have gas masks? Do you have what's the word? Why won't it come to me? Do you have the iodine tablets? Do you have enough? Do you have things to protect yourself? Do you have ways to get rid of, to get away from that situation? Because dirty bombs can either be very localized or very spread out, depending on the weather pattern. If it's raining or if the wind's blowing, that creates a serious situation. I also have in there grid attack. A lot of you folks up in North Carolina, I think it was, people were shooting up the power stations and people were without power for a week because someone took and fired and took down some power grids. So imagine if there was on a grander scale and there was a organized attack on our grid system by terrorists, and there's 13 major grids, I think, in the United States. And a lot of this information is public. And they don't protect it as well as you would think that they do, right? Hopefully they're getting better at that. I don't know what our government's doing anymore, but imagine, people, an organized attack on the grid or the water supply. They do something really bad to our water supply. A lot of people are going to get sick before anybody notices it or die. And then they're going to say, oh, by the way, we have this major issue. Our water supply has been tainted. But matter of fact, when I was talking to Rudy last week, and he did that video about America's water supply, that 45% of our water supply in the United States is laden with forever chemicals and all kinds of nasty stuff. That when I read that and we talked about that before he did that, matter of fact, he did the video the day we talked. I was like, isn't that crazy, Rudy? That you think that we're America, our water should be like top dog. And half of our water system is trash. And that's probably why people get sick and get diseases and stuff like cancer and stuff like that. That's hypothetical. It's just my opinion. So I don't want to take it as gospel, but that's what I think. You see, more than just a fenced off. Yeah, right, creative. If I use pectin, have laxatives. Good point. Good to see you, Michael. Darth Baggett says we are a first world country with a third world power grid. Agreed, Darth. I've had a couple folks on here. We've done some live streams and stuff with some of my guests who specifically have talked about the grid and how shoddy our grid is. We haven't upgraded our grid since like the 60s and 70s or even later than that. A lot of the stuff is ancient and it's held together by bubble gum and gum wrappers per se, right? Not literally, but it's to the point. I have a guy that works for here in Florida, FPL, and he tells me, he says, man, it's horrible. It's horrible the way our system is. Then I have some guys that come into my shop that work for Pike Electric, and they're saying, yeah, man, he says, it's really bad. You know what I mean? And that tells me if the people that are fixing this stuff are saying it's really bad, then it's probably a lot worse. You know what I mean? So something to keep an eye out for. All right, so let's move on to number 7. We're at 39 minutes. And you guys have been hanging out. Sorry, I thought I saw something. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm trying to back up a little bit here. Oh, look who it is, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody say hello to Alaska Prepper. Rudy's in the house. Good to see you, brother. All right, so we're going to move on to number 7, which is the coronal mass ejection, right? Coronal mass ejection. What is a coronal mass ejection? It's when the sun decides to burp and shoots out its, solar flare per se, right? There's kind of a difference in it. But a coronal mass ejection is when the sun burps and creates this huge thing that comes and kind of wipes everything out on the planet. Now, depending on the strength and whatnot, but a lot of you folks may be familiar with the Carrington event. Most people that have been prepping for a while have heard of the Carrington event that happened a while ago. And that's when, life was a lot less dependent on the grid. And it did some pretty bad damage on there. And depending on the cycle of the sun, and when I talked to Dr. Arthur Bradley in that interview, I asked Dr. Arthur Bradley, who is a NASA scientist, I asked him, I said, Dr. Bradley, do you think that we'll see a corona mass ejection hit, the planet in your lifetime? And he said, yes, Grey, it will happen in our lifetime. He didn't say how bad it would be, but he said he expects a corona mass ejection to hit this planet in his lifetime specifically. And I'm pretty sure Dr. Bradley is probably in his mid 40s. And Dr. Bradley, if you watch this and I got your age wrong, my apologies. But it's a life-changing event and no one can predict it. No one can. We have a somewhat idea, but if some of the government will still stand, things that have been hardened. But if you look at the statistics and you read into it, a coronal mass ejection is a true SHTF world-changing event. It will literally send us to the dark ages. And living in that environment, outside of just the chaos of people, looting and destroying and killing and pillaging and all that stuff like that, America will never be the same at that point. You know what I mean? Depending on the intensity of a coronal mass ejection. All right, moving on to 8. Now I'm going to speed up a little bit, folks. Yes, Teresa, I'm always after Rudy's silver coins. Whenever I can get my hands on one. Especially he has a new batch of silver coins that I need to get my hands on one. I tried to bribe him and say, my birthday's in September, Rudy. But we'll see what happens. Number 8 is going to be World War III. All right. So, and war in general, right? War in general is an SHTF. Depending if you've been to places like Afghanistan or third world countries during an environment of war, it's crazy. People are dying left and right. It's a SHTF for the people that are living in those environments. If we look at Vietnam War or any war in general, but World War III specifically. And what I mean by World War III specifically is, let's say, electromagnetic pulse, which is similar to an EMP, but done through a nuclear bomb explosion in the upper atmosphere, right? That's what an EMP is. I'm pretty sure a lot of you folks are familiar with that. Or in general, any type of nuclear threat. And some people say, well, who would do that? Well, we do have people that don't like us, like China, Iran, Russia, North Korea, and the list grows every year for some reason, especially depending on who's in office. A lot of people see America currently as a weak country. And a lot of folks say, no, we are America. We are the strongest country. No one can mess with us. Well, under the current situation, people seem to be testing us a lot more often. And I feel that it's the current political environment that we're in. They see us as weak, not us as Americans as weak, but they see our government as weak, because we, the people, are strong. We are resilient and we are armed. And that usually keeps a lot of folks at bay. So anybody who ever decides to come to the United States would probably, if they were going to attack us, would hope that we were getting hit by something like a EMP or a coronal mass ejection, or put us in a position where it's a lot easier for them to get in. You know what I mean? But the biggest thing is I think personally, is we as Americans would be the biggest threat to another country invading us. Not much our military and our political environment, but us as the people would be something to reckon with, right? Just think about, the Revolutionary War and the amount of Americans that fought in that war compared to the population. And we won. We won our independence, folks, with that small percentage. All right, number 9, and people have talked about this. They think it might be happening here the next year or two. But number 9 is going to be Civil War 2.0, right? Yes, and Rudy says, yes, 1 Second After is a great book. Rudy, he is releasing a new book in August. That's going to be, I think, the 4th chapter in that series. I'm excited. Great book. Very detailed and kind of gives you an idea how things will play out. But he's releasing a 4th, I think it's the 4th one in that series, and I'm excited. I'm so excited. What's up, Billy and D? Good to see you. D4D, Electric Boogaloo. But Civil War 2.0, right? And how can Civil War 2.0 happen in America. People say, no way that could happen, man. But we are becoming so divided as a country, be it either through racial this or, sexual this or all this stuff like that. They're trying to do the biggest thing to tear us apart, because as a whole, we are hard to defeat as people, right? So if we can be split and divided as far as possible, it makes it easier for the government to control their narrative, right? And we know what their narrative is, and we can go down the road of World Economic Forum and all the other stuff like that. But that would be something that would be create a Civil War 2.0. Our electoral process, people will say people don't even want to vote anymore because they feel like their vote doesn't count. That's what gets people thinking. It's got to get them motivated to think about Civil War, right? But there's also false flag situations. Or let's say the government was to declare federally martial law. And what else I have? Or the government itself collapses. You know what I mean? Those are some of the things that could create possibly a civil war. Now, this is just from my perspective. These aren't facts, folks. These are some of the things that I've done research on and things that I feel specifically could be reasons why we would have a civil war, especially with the country divided the way it is. And it won't be like the North and the South, folks. It'll be pockets everywhere all over the United States. It won't just be like the North and South. Hey, Jennifer Cruz, good to see you. But all in all, it's quite interesting when you really start to look into how would America deal with, a civil war. And here's the crazy thing, folks. A lot of people say, well, it'll be something good. It's nothing's good because people will die. People will die. Just like in the original Civil War, brothers fighting brothers, fathers fighting brothers, it just family fighting family, because families have been divided, politically divided. So they feel this way strongly this way and others strongly this way. So you'd be fighting your own family in certain instances. Some folks may not. All right. Last but not least, number 10 on the most plausible SHTF scenarios that could possibly happen. And I just feel that these are all, from my perspective, plausible SHTF scenarios. And we got to hurry up because we got only like 15 minutes left and we got to do all these giveaways. Is world famine. You always hear a lot of us on these channels, prepper channels, emergency homestead channels, whatever channels, gardening channels, is food shortages. Things are getting bad, folks. I took a couple notes on this one, something that was just recently posted. It says, the world is hungrier than ever in 2023. 2023, folks. With children in poverty among the most vulnerable, according to the World Food Program. As many as 828 million people will go to bed hungry each night. 828 million people go to bed each night hungry. That's a problem, folks. That's a problem. World famine. People will do crazy things to feed their family. Just imagine, what would you do if you saw, little Sue or your son Bob, starving to death? What would you do if the guy 5 houses down has lots of food? What would you do in that instance? Sure, you might be a God-fearing person and you have a good moral compass, but when you see your family starving, what would you do? That's a question you have to ask yourself. Anyways, where was that? It says extreme weather, rising costs, and conflict continues to worsen the global food crisis. So people say, oh, you guys always talk about food shortages. Yes, there's food shortages, and also the cost of goods. Yes, Teresa, I'm trying to speed it along. But let's just specifically, where was that? What is the biggest predictor of food insecurity? And basically a household income, as household income decline, the risk of food insecurity increases. So with inflation and the cost of goods being where they're at, your money, you still make the same amount of money you did 5 years ago, but you don't get the same amount of money for your dollar, right? So you're getting less, but you're still getting paid the same. Severe food insecurity is particularly sensitive to specifically your income. Households with very low incomes are at much higher risk of being severely food insecure. So imagine this continues. The droughts, the storms, the supply chain issues. You have to remember China, Ukraine, Russia, all those places, they grow the majority of the world's food. All right. And so Rudy has a video coming out tomorrow, and Rudy does a lot of research. So it'll be a video that I'm watching, but he has a video on this specific topic about world famine and food, specifically the World Food Program. So something to look forward to. But anyways, that is that's my 10 list for most plausible SHTF scenarios. Let's move on to the giveaways, folks. And let's try to get to these giveaways quickly. My apologies for rambling on so dang much. You mean the World Non-Food Program, right, Okikon? All right, so let's get these giveaways going. All right, so we're going to start with the small. We're going to do these four here, these four small things here first, and we're going to do them right off StreamYard. Let me share my screen and give you guys the code word. And this code word is going to work. I'm taking a page from what Rudy did. It made it so much simpler. All you have to do is enter once, and you'll be entered in any giveaway that I'm doing on the live stream. You'll be entered in that. All right. So the code word is going to be gray. All right. Gray in all caps. Did I put in all caps? Yes. Gray in all caps. Let me go to my StreamYard tool here. There we go. So everybody who wants to, and I'm going to just, it's going to be weird, but I'm just going to be giving stuff away. So we're going to start off with these two keychain lights. We'll do those first. Then we'll move on to the i3 EOS, and then the Olight O-Pen in brass. And then we'll move into the bigger prizes, like the O-Lantern Mini Classics, like I was showing you guys here. So everybody type in the word gray if you want to participate. All you have to do is once, and you'll be entered. And let's start collecting comments. And how many people do we have in here? We have 153 people. I hope we have 153 thumbs up buttons too, right? Or thumbs up or whatever. Or at least the equal amount of thumbs up and thumbs down to equals 153 viewers. Any interaction is good interaction. All right, so we got 77. Thank you all for listening to me ramble at the most plausible SHTF scenarios. And if you find anybody that thinks this might be interesting, you should share it out with folks. Because believe it or not, folks, YouTube has been messing with me lately, as it always does. I don't know why. I've been a good boy. I've been doing good content, nothing too crazy. But I still have views disappear. I still have subscribers disappear. I still have people that don't get notified. Here's my thing to you while we're sitting here waiting to grab all these entries is if you ever get bored, if you have a spare tablet, spare phone, maybe a TV in another room, or something of that nature, and you want to break the internet, and what I mean by break the internet is break, the YouTube algo, find one of my playlists and let that bad boy play. You know what I mean? Go on there, stick it in another room. You can mute it. You can put on closed captions. You can, until the battery dies. And I'm not telling you have to do this. It's as if you want to, kind of stick it to the man per se, right? Stick it to the tube. You can help that, because from my understanding, as I've been reading and the information I've been reading, the more time people spend on your channel. So if someone watches a video on your channel and then goes to another video on your channel and then another video on your channel, and they keep on watching this content, your channel gets pushed into a situation where it gets showed to new people. So new people will find you and be like, oh, this is GreyMan. This is kind of cool. I like GreyMan. Or this is Alaska Prepper. Alaska Prepper is awesome. And the list goes on. It works for anybody in any channel. So if you ever want to try to help one of your favorite content creators out, be it myself or anybody else out there that you watch, find one of their playlists and let that bad boy run. That's a good way to break the internet. You know what I mean? And always, even if you watch something and you don't want to comment, just say, hey, thanks. Under the comment section, you leave a comment, you hit the thumbs up button and all that stuff. It all helps your favorite content creator out there. All right. So I've rambled on enough. Time is going by so quickly. I'm going to draw the first one, which will be the IR2. And I'm going to write these down as they go. This is an orange, looks like an orange IR2 keychain flashlight through Olight. So I'm going to draw the first one. All right. Let's go ahead and find out who's going to be our first winner. Ghosty. What is up, Ghosty? Looks like you got yourself a little EDC light. I guess I need to put up my thing here so you guys know where to email me, because all winners need to email me at the email that I'm putting down below, which is graysgiveaways@gmail.com. So Ghosty, please send me to whom and to where you would like me to send this at. All right. So I appreciate that, Ghosty. Matter of fact, I got that written down. Ghosty is on there, and we're going to keep it moving, folks. So this is the collector's edition, the i16, the other keychain light by Olight. And this one kind of looks like a bluish, but it's like I said, it's the 16th anniversary version. You know what I mean? So supposedly it's supposed to be really cool. But, to me, I have so many flashlights, it doesn't matter at this point. But let's go ahead. We have 99 entries. Let's draw again. Remember, all you have to put in the word is gray, all caps. For some reason, if you just showed up right now, type in the word GREY, all caps, to get involved in this. All right, fourth and goal. Fourth and goal. FOURTH and goal. All right. That will be, you won that one, fourth and goal. All right, so let's move on to the i3 EOS, which is orange. It's kind of a keychain light, but a little bit bigger. It's what me and my wife have on our keychains currently. She likes this one because it has a little bit of a different battery life on it. But she likes it because it's also bright, and she's always digging around in her car for all kinds of things. So she likes to use this light. This is one of her favorite little mini lights to use outside of using one of her big lights because it's readily accessible on her keychain. So let's go ahead and draw for the i3E. And sorry to run through this, folks. My apologies for running through it so fast, but other people are going to be starting their live streams, and I don't want to take away from that. Penny Willis, congratulations, Penny. Penny Willis, congratulations on that. And keep them coming. If you, good to see you, Sergeant Deacon. Good to see you. All right. So next is going to be the O pen in brass. This is a pen with a light on it, from my understanding, right? Am I going crazy? I make sure before I say something on here and someone gets it and like, Gray, you lied. But it's the O pen mini in brass. That's the next thing we're drawing for. And then we're going to be moving to our 3 grand prizes, our big prizes per se, right? All right. So let's draw for the O pen in brass. We have 104 entries. That is awesome. Let's go see who's going to be the winner for that. And remember, folks, please email me at the email down below. You can always come back to this video. Sean Penrod. Congratulations, Sean. Congratulations, Sean, on winning that. And again, all you winners, please email me at graysgiveaways@gmail.com. I know I sound like I feel like I'm sounding like a commercial. graysgiveaways@gmail.com. All right. So now we're going to move into this. let me see if I can make this different here. Let me make myself bigger. Here we go. So this is going to be the next one. This is going to be the Olight mini lantern. I'm going to be giving one from this video. We're going to be doing one. One of the drawings is going to be for how much? Can't you just say this right, Gray? Everybody's on this live stream is going to get an opportunity to win this. To be fair, I'm also going to draw from the video that everybody entered on the other video as well. So one winner from here and one video from the video that I had to take down, but it's unlisted, so I still have access to all the people that commented on that. That's how I felt that this would be fair, because a lot of people took the time to watch the video and also, put the effort in to put a comment down. So I'm going to be giving 2 of these away, one on the live stream and one on that video that I had to take down. So my apologies if you didn't get to see that video, but hopefully you're watching now and you'll get a chance to win this. I love it. I really like the thing. I wish they wouldn't have made me take the video down, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and draw a winner for the O Lantern here and see who we have for the O Lantern Classic Mini. LC is the winner. LC, if you can please do me a favor, LC, and email me at graysgiveaways@gmail.com. And also tell me if you prefer brass, black, or green. I don't know if they're going to let me pick a color. They might just send you one randomly, but since they're sending it, but just in case they have an option for the color, send it to me in the email as well as all the information. Remember, folks, please put your YouTube handle, the name and address, and all the information that you want me to send it to, be it P.O Box, your address. And again, I will reiterate what Rudy said, is everything is confidential. All this does is go to either if I'm emailing something and I use your to mail you something, or the manufacturer, they don't save your stuff. They just send you the prize. So that being said, I'm going to move over to the next one. I'm going to remove that. Let me remove this one here. And I'm kind of creeping over an hour now, and I'm trying to hurry up. I got 2 more things to give away. We have 1 more lantern, and then we have the portable power station giveaway. Hopefully you folks left a comment on that video. I did a live stream last week and told everybody, as this live stream ends, please comment on this video, on the live stream, the previous live stream, and on that video, and you'll get 2 entries. All right, so let's get rid of the giveaway tool here, and now let's move into the next one. My apologies, folks. I got to pull this up so I can get my YouTube channel up. And my apologies for running behind. I should have sped up. I shouldn't have, rambled too much. All right, let me click here and go to my videos, your channel. And videos. Where is that video at? There we go. And come on, you can do it, Gray. There it is. Copy that link. Share the screen with folks so they can see what you're doing. So you're just not rambling on to yourself. All right. Add to stream. And let's make it so you guys can see that better. Where is it at? Is it this one? There we go. All right. So this is going to be for the other lantern for the folks that took the time to leave that to leave a comment on that video. And again, I'm sorry if you guys didn't have the chance. That's why I did one on here to try to be fair. So for you folks that watch this live stream and you folks that that watch that video. So let me go ahead and get YouTube comments. We have 60 of them because the video is only up for a few hours. And I'm going to pick a winner from that video. Hopefully you guys can see that. D's Craft, you are the winner, D. Thank you so much, D, for being one of the first people to watch the video. Nice review. Thanks. I appreciate that, D. So, D, don't forget to use Grey's giveaways at gmail.com. Congratulations, D, on winning the O Lantern. Again, let me know if you want brass, black, or green, and I will pass it along to the Olight folks and try to get you the color you want. Hopefully, they'll let me send them the color that you guys prefer that you'd like to win. All right, folks. So now for the grand finale of the giveaway, which is a portable power station, the Bluetti EB3A 600-watt portable power station. I pray that a lot of you folks entered that or watched last week's YouTube video. If you haven't, you might want to go and comment on the Bluetti Prime Day Sale giveaway as I'm setting this up. And because we're going to use that. Let's refresh this whole thing here. We're going to use that YouTube there. And this, see how it says get extra YouTube videos? I'm also going to link the live stream that we did last week because anybody who left a comment on that live stream is also getting entered on this. And I'm going to have to make a quick little thing here. Pardon me, folks. While I've noticed when you do a live stream, it's a little bit more weirder to get the link for it. So just give me 1 second as I'm setting it up. And if you haven't entered yet, you might want to run over to that and leave any kind of comment on that video. There we go. I just got to do a couple little things here. That is the tag that I'm looking for from the live stream. Cut there. All right. Now I can go back here and add the live stream into that as well. So anybody who did, anybody who watched and left a comment on the EB3A, also anybody who left a comment on the live stream from last week will be entered in this, and you'll get 2 entries if you did it on both videos. And real quick, I want to say hi to Vera. Good to see you, Vera, and as well as Pantry Only Recipes. Good to see you. More weirder? Yes. You know, I'm just a weirder kind of guy, man. All right, so let's get the YouTube comments going. We have 164 entries for this Blue Yeti. What? Oops, the video does not exist anymore. Are you entered in the correct video link and the video still exists? Please send us a message. Well, that's weird. Which video are they talking about? That video exists. See, the live streams act funky, but I want to be fair. So let me try something else. Let me see if I do the actual live stream. See. Oh, let's share. All right, that worked a lot better. So we have 174. Okay. And I didn't get an error that time. All right. So let's find out who's going to win the Blue Yeti EB3A portable power station. Now, when you send me the information at graysgiveaways@gmail.com, please also add your if you have a phone number or something like that, in case Blue Yeti needs that for whatever reason to verify shipment, because I'm going to take your email and I'm going to forward that over to my contact over at Blue Yeti. All right. Are you guys ready? You had to take the video down, Gray. I know, Jules. It was crazy. But no, this one's for the EB3A. That video is up as well as the live stream. Are we ready for to draw this? I know you guys are like, great, it's over an hour. Get it over with, right? All right, here we go. Let's find out who's going to win the Blue Yeti EB3A. All right, that was quick. Luan O'Neill, Luannonneal. New to your channel from Florida. Well, Luan, that's great. Hello, fellow Floridian. Now, Luan, if you're either in chat, you need to email me as soon as possible because you have 7 days. Everyone who won something today, you have 7 days to claim your prize. By next week, I hope to go live again next week because it is summertime, and I promise you guys I'll do more live streams. I'm going to, whatever someone didn't claim, I'm going to redraw for these prizes on the live stream next week. So Luan O'Neill, please email me within the next 7 days with your information. I feel 7 days a week is long enough for someone to claim their prize. So please email me as soon as possible. All right. Now everybody's going to disappear real quick because the live stream is coming to an end. I'm over my time. Again, graysgiveaways@gmail.com. So please email me there. If you have any other questions, just email me with the other email down below. Some people usually do at GreyManPrepping@gmail.com. And I will forward your information to graysgiveaways@gmail.com so I can have it. It's just easier to focus on who won on that. All right. So I'm going to remove that and go back to here, folks. Again, folks, if you wanted to ever help anybody's channel out, go out there, watch some of their playlists, spend some time on their channel, and help those folks out. But first of all, I want to say thank you to all you amazing people that sat here for the entire live stream and listened to me ramble. Hopefully you got some value out of this. If you did, a thumbs up would be appreciated. I look forward to reading your comments after the live stream as well. What did you like about the live stream? What you didn't like about the live stream? Or, you know, also I like to get some feedback in regards to, in the comment section, ideas for live streams. Let's say you have an idea. Hey, Gray, I've been thinking about this. Why don't you do a live stream like that? I will start pulling together that information and making a list and taking from you, my viewers, since you guys watch me, and take some of your guys' ideas and incorporate them into future live streams. So I think that'll be fun. So look forward to reading your comments after this video ends. Leave it down below. Hit that thumbs up button. I'm probably repeating myself right now because I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. Congratulations to all the winners out there. Thank you for participating. We have a lot more giveaways coming up in the future, all kinds of fun stuff. And don't forget the big Christmas giveaway that we'll be doing in November. So stay tuned for that. I got some really big plans for that one. Mods, thank you for all you do. Appreciate all the time that you invest into the channel, helping me keep everything nice and friendly and everything rolling smoothly. So God bless to the entire great community. Thank you so much for being here. Again, remember, you are not alone, folks. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys in a rebound, and God bless. And thank you so much for watching. I'm losing my voice now, folks. Have a great night, folks. Thank you.